Army. What just happened that made the entire timeline explode? GQ Korea has done it again, and this time it's that name, Jimin, a breathtaking male model, an undeniable visual, an aura that makes hearts race. But the real question is, why always him? What is the secret behind the charm that keeps GQ Korea choosing him as their cover model? Before we uncover everything, don't forget to like this video, comment your thoughts, and of course subscribe to Jikook Lover right now so you don't miss any hot updates. Because what we're about to discuss today isn't just a magazine cover. This is about influence, power, and a Jimin who may have gone far beyond being just an idol. The fashion world has once again been left speechless as GQ Korea officially unveiled its latest edition featuring a name that is no stranger to global headlines, parkjimin. But this is not just another idol on a fashion cover. This is an event, a silent declaration that Jimin is no longer just a member of a global boy group. He is a symbol, a face, a new standard for modern masculinity in South Korea and beyond. Why is it always Jimin? This question is everywhere. Why does GQ Korea return to the same figure every time they want to create a sensation? Why not a top-tier actor? Why not an international runway model? The answer may be simpler and far more complex than we think. Since debuting with BTS, Jimin has been known for his extreme duality. On stage, he can be soft, almost fragile, then in the next second transform into a magnetic force of charisma impossible to ignore. GQ doesn't choose just a face. They choose a story. And Jimin is a living story. If we trace his journey from BTS's early days until now, Jimin's evolution feels like a butterfly's metamorphosis, slow, deliberate, unstoppable. He was once known primarily as a talented dancer with a gentle smile. Today, he stands before the camera with sharp eyes, defined features, and an aura of maturity that command attention. Is this only about visuals? No. In every photo released by GQ Korea, there is emotional depth. His gaze speaks. His expressions are not merely poses, they are narratives. Several fashion critics have even described him as having an editorial face, a face that conveys concept, not just aesthetics. Within minutes of the cover announcement, social media erupted. Jimin GQ trended across multiple countries, not just in South Korea, not just in Asia, but also in the United States, Europe, and Latin America. The phenomenon recalls BTS's early global breakthroughs at major award stages such as the Billboard Music Awards. But this time it's different. This is not a group comeback. This is not an album promotion. This is an individual moment. And the impact, just as massive. GQ is known for redefining the modern man. When they select someone as a cover model, it is never random. Jimin does not represent rigid, traditional masculinity. He embodies a new version, flexible, emotional, yet undeniably strong. In some photos, he appears in classic tailored suits, elegant and refined. In others, he embraces minimalist styling, almost bare in concept, yet that simplicity only amplifies his star power. Is this coincidence? Or is the fashion industry finally acknowledging that the old standards have shifted? There is something about Jimin that defies logic. He is not exceptionally tall. He is not a professional runway model. Yet when the camera turns on, every focus locks onto him. Photographers have praised his instinctive understanding of angles and lighting. He knows when to stare directly into the lens, when to turn away, when to hold an expression so neutral it becomes intensely meaningful. That is why this GQ cover feels different. This is not simply an idol being photographed. This is an artistic collaboration. Comment sections overflowed with reactions. He doesn't look human. How does he get more handsome every year? He just raised the standard for men. Even longtime fans admitted they needed minutes to process the visuals before forming words. Is it exaggeration? Or proof that Jimin's visual impact is undeniably real? A smart strategy by GQ Korea? Many speculate that GQ Korea's decision to feature Jimin again is not only about popularity but long-term branding. Associating the magazine with a global figure like Jimin instantly expands international reach. Physical sales spike. Pre-orders surge. Digital editions are downloaded at record speed. Is it business? Of course. But such success would be impossible without a figure who possesses genuine magnetism. And once again, Jimin proves he is the perfect visual investment. In recent years, Jimin has also become the face of global luxury brands. He is no longer merely attending fashion weeks. He sits alongside designers and editors as a central figure. His status has changed. He is no longer just a guest. He is the highlight. This latest GQ Korea cover reinforces that position. Jimin represents a new generation of globally influential Asian men. Is this the peak? The biggest question now. Is this the peak of Jimin's visual career? Or is it only the beginning? Looking at his trajectory, there is no sign of decline. Every solo project, every photo shoot, every appearance, each leaves a powerful imprint. And now, with this newest GQ Korea cover, one truth becomes undeniable. Jimin is not following trends. He is the trend. For some, a GQ Korea cover may be just glossy paper. But for millions of fans and industry observers, it is a symbol. A symbol that hard work, evolution, and relentless self-growth can break boundaries once thought impossible. Jimin has proven he is more than just a handsome idol. He is a cultural phenomenon, a fashion icon, a global standard redefining masculinity. And the question now is, if today he has captivated the world through a single magazine cover, what will he conquer next? When GQ Korea unveiled the latest cover featuring parkjimin, it did more than decorate newsstands. It triggered a cultural conversation, one that stretches far beyond fashion photography and glossy pages. Because this wasn't just about what he wore. It was about what he represents. Within hours, bookstores across South Korea reported rapid pre-orders. International fans coordinated group purchases. Social media edits flooded timelines, slow-motion transitions, zoom-ins on his gaze, side-by-side comparisons of his evolution over the years. The digital world didn't just react. It erupted. But here's the deeper question. Why does a single magazine cover featuring Jimin feel like a global event? There is something unique about Jimin's presence. Even in still photography, there is movement. Even in silence, there is intensity. Fashion insiders often say that modeling is not about standing still. It's about telling a story without speaking. And Jimin seems to understand this instinctively. Each frame from the GQ shoot feels deliberate. In one image, his posture is relaxed yet commanding, shoulders slightly angled, eyes piercing but not aggressive. In another, he appears almost introspective, soft lighting sculpting his features, creating an aura of quiet mystery. It is this duality that keeps audiences captivated. Soft, yet powerful. Elegant, yet raw. Approachable, yet untouchable. And perhaps that's the real secret. Jimin embodies contradictions seamlessly. Historically, male fashion covers lean toward hypermasculine archetypes, stoic expressions, rigid jawlines, aggressive energy. But modern audiences are shifting. The idea of masculinity is evolving. Jimin represents a new blueprint. He does not rely on exaggerated toughness. Instead, he radiates confidence through vulnerability. His expressions are layered, sometimes distant, sometimes warm, sometimes almost fragile. In this GQ edition, stylists reportedly emphasized minimalism, clean silhouettes, subtle accessories, textures that complement rather than overpower. The focus was clear, the man, not the outfit. And that choice speaks volumes. Because when the styling steps back, the subject must carry the weight of the image. And Jimin carries it effortlessly. It would be impossible to discuss Jimin without acknowledging the foundation laid by BTS. The group's global dominance created unprecedented visibility for Korean artists in Western markets. Yet this moment feels different. This cover is not about choreography, album promotions, or group dynamics. It is deeply individual. Jimin stands alone. And standing alone in a global spotlight is not easy. It requires identity beyond the group. It requires a signature presence that cannot be mistaken. Judging by the reaction to this GQ feature, he has found it. Minutes after the release, analytics showed trending keywords across continents. Fan accounts dissected every detail, from the cut of his suit to the lighting direction. Fashion commentators praised the composition. Even casual observers paused long enough to ask, why does he look different here? The answer may lie in growth. Over the years, Jimin's public persona has matured. His confidence has deepened. His posture is firmer. His gaze steadier. Growth is visible. And growth is compelling. People are not just looking at the same idol. They are witnessing evolution. A strategic masterstroke. From a business perspective, featuring Jimin again is undeniably strategic. Global celebrities bring sales, visibility, and international credibility. But repeated collaboration suggests something more than mere profit. There is alignment. GQ represents refinement, modern masculinity, and cultural influence. Jimin embodies those qualities in a way that feels organic rather than forced. He doesn't look like a celebrity trying to be fashionable. He looks like fashion itself. And that distinction matters. One fascinating aspect of this cover is how it appears to tell a silent narrative. The color grading, muted yet warm. The framing, intimate but expansive. The styling, structured but fluid. Everything feels intentional. Editorial photography at this level is not accidental. It is a collaboration between subject, photographer, stylist, and creative director. The result is a visual symphony. And Jimin is not merely the instrument, he is the composer. His micro-expressions add nuance. A slight tilt of the chin transforms vulnerability into dominance. A subtle narrowing of the eyes shifts calmness into intensity. Few idols master this language so completely. Beyond aesthetics lies something deeper, emotion. Fans often describe Jimin as someone who performs with his entire being. That same authenticity seems to translate into his modeling work. There is a sincerity in his gaze, a hint of introspection, a sense that he is not just posing, but revealing. That emotional transparency builds connection, and connection builds loyalty. This is why millions feel personally invested in his milestones. A magazine cover is not just a career achievement. It is a shared victory. For years, Western fashion media underrepresented Asian male figures. When Asian men did appear, they were often boxed into narrow stereotypes. Moments like this disrupt that narrative. A South Korean artist commanding a prestigious cover from a globally recognized publication signals change. It communicates that beauty, influence, and style are not confined to one region. Jimin's presence on this cover is symbolic, not only for fans but for representation itself. He stands as proof that global standards are expanding. Is this a defining era? Looking at his trajectory, this moment feels like a turning point. Not because it is the first major cover, not because it is unexpected, but because it feels definitive. There is a quiet authority in these images, a sense that he has fully stepped into his identity, not as a rising star, but as an established icon. And that transition from promising talent to cultural figure is monumental.